that notification bell. Slide up into that thing. Join the nation. Yeah. Let the room fill up just a little bit. Yeah. So, Cowboy Nation. One way or another. All right. So it boils down, or it goes down to this right here. It goes to this moment where we have to look at it and say, well, it is what it is, right? we got to look at it in those parameters. For the separate strength as it relates to the Cowboys, collectively speaking, we got to say to ourselves, man, Dez Bryant in the Cowboys uniform again will look nice. It will look good because we can look at it from A to Z and say to ourselves, we needed a dog out there last year and we didn't get that dog that we was looking for. Now, one can argue this and say to themselves, well, wasn't we the ones that saying that he lost a step? Was it us that was saying that, collectively speaking, that it's not what it's supposed to be at this point in this pivotal time of situation? Shout out to you, Cole. Shout out to you, Andrea. Really appreciate you for tuning in to the nation. So we can look at it from A to Z, and we can say to ourselves, man, this thing needs to change one way or another. And before I go into details, shout out to the Kansas City Chiefs and shout out to the 49ers for making it. You guys know I can't stand the 49ers and I can't stand those Green Bay Packers. But shout out to them. They going to Super Bowl 54. Hopefully it can be a good game and the official don't get all into the mix of it. You know what I'm saying, Cowboy Nation? Shout out to you, Raw, Real, and Uncut, man. Really appreciate you, Steven. Thank you for tuning in to the nation. So we're looking at this thing from A to Z, and we have to say to ourselves, what can this team do? Now, another thing that I was talking to some people on Twitter, they was talking about the market value. You know, Dak Prescott market value. They was sitting there saying, well, you see Jimmy G, he made it. You see Ryan Tannehill, he made it further than Dak Prescott. So are we paying too much money into this situation if we give Dak Prescott $33 million? Or are we sitting there saying to ourselves that Dak Prescott is not worth the grain of salt, that he should be sitting somewhere else on somebody else's team? And that's not how market value goes. It don't. If you buy a house in a community of $400,000, if the community is $400,000, you just can't waltz up in there and say, well, I want to pay for this house, let's say $150,000. Because the people that purchased that house for $400,000, guess what? They don't want you to buy that house for that amount of money because it's going to pull down the market. But football play don't work that way, Cowboy Nation. It don't. I wish it did, but it don't. Because there's numbers, it goes by stats. Regardless of how we look at it, people say stats are for losers, but not for football players, because that's how they can put that ink on paper. The Dak Prescott agency can say, hey, we improved from year to year to year to year. And then comparable to anybody else quarterback numbers, they can pull up Russell Wilson's stats and they say, well, hey, according to the stats indicator, you guys paid Russell Wilson this much. And then the outlier will be, hey, he made it to the playoff. He made it here. He made it there. And then they can go on to other details and say, well, technically, in this particular game, this happened or that happened. That's just how it goes. I wish I can lie to kick it, but I can't. That is just how it goes. We can't get mad at other players on how they got money. We just saw an undrafted player rush for more yards than any player ever did or second ever in the NFL playoffs. Mostert, however you say that man's name. Can you compare his numbers per se as it relates to playoffs to Ezekiel Elliott? It don't work that way, you see. We know, Cowboys, that Ezekiel Elliott is far beyond better than that kid. However, the system, the scheme, the product, wherever he's at, is a better suit. We know that Shanahan, he is a better collective coach than, dare I say, a Jason Witten. No, a Jason Garrett, I meant to say. I think Jason Witten is on my head because it's the topic of the hour. But what we're trying to say is collectively, looking at everything from A to Z, is that this team, this sport that we supposed to love, is not about individuals, believe it or not, but it's about the collective unit. That's why you see Tom Brady with 6 Super Bowls. That's why you are able to identify Big Ben Roethlisberger, who got 2 Super Bowls. That's how you can sit back and say to yourself, Eli. Manning got 2 Super Bowls, but he's not better than Tony Romo, huh? I digress. But people gonna argue to their grave and say, well, they only gonna look at the Super Bowls, and they're gonna say, well, Eli Manning is far beyond better than Tony Romo. What are you saying? And then 5 years from now, I guess if he plays another year, but 5 years from now, Eli Manning may be a first ballot Hall of Famer. That's just how it goes. He was cut by 6 teams. And look what happened. This is Joseph. Joseph Ventura. Is this Ventura? Yes. He was cut by 6 teams. If it does anything, it proves to you that with a proper system, you can win games. With proper coaching, you can win games. We just saw, what's the guy, Derrick Henry? He didn't get his bag yet. But one can argue that if he goes by his stats alone, he can go to his agency can go to that panel and say, hey, Ezekiel Elliott got this much. We want this much. And then their agency is going to say, well, Ezekiel Elliott led the league in rushing. You know what I'm saying? But Derrick Henry said, well, my running back won us playoff games. You see, so that's how they're gonna argue that stance, and they're gonna go back and forth, and they're gonna meet up with a number. That's just how it goes. Now, Mostert was beasting. This is Tamara. Yeah. He was beasting, balling. and not just him. Coleman was before he got injured or what have you. The defense flew out to the ball. They knocked the ball out of Aaron Rodgers, the bad man that he is. Shout out to you, Greg and Loving Aries. She says she's rooting for the Chiefs. I don't blame you. I can't stand those 49ers, nor can I stand those doggone Green Bay Packers. But, it should be a good game. Shout out to Morris Claiborne. Shout out to Anthony Hitchens. And who else? Who else used to play for the Cowboys? They're playing on the Chiefs. And I think for there's somebody else that I saw out there for the 49ers. I think I can't pronounce his last name, but he's a linebacker, and he had a cup of coffee with the Cowboys. Yes, and have us a good old reunion. Here's the thing, and I'm going to pull this up again. My guy, Dez Bryant, he said, hey, bring me in for a cup of coffee. Let me run the Jason Witten plays. Let me be the tight end, per se. Let me be that guy. I promise you I can produce. And that's basically what he said. Bring me in for a cup of coffee. Let me show you guys what it's all about, and let me show you I can still play this game. Here's Dez Bryant, hungry for the NFL comeback. Eyes. Cowboys returns after McCarthy hires. So here's the thing. He's been looking forward the Cowboys, the catch, no catch. You guys remember that situation that happened several years ago. It took the NFL 4 years to say, hey, yeah, he caught it, And here's the thing. Bryant's last NFL catch came in December the 31st, 2017 as a member of the Dallas Cowboys, and he is now 31 years old, free agent. When I saw a 31-year-old player make a play today named Richard Sherman, by the way, he says, give me the role. Here he goes right here, because I don't want people thinking that I'm saying it. I'm trying to put this out here. Give me the role they gave Witten. No shot at Witten. Let me play with Zeke, Pollard, Gallup, Cooper, Cobb, Jarwin. Think about it. In the meantime, I'm working. Now, he's been working with the route guru. He's been working with him. And that's David Robinson on the Instagram. Just pull up David Robinson on Instagram. They call him D-Rob, always open. Pull him up, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Let me see if I can pull up Dez tweets or what have you and see what he's been talking about since then. Because my thing is with Dez Bryant, we love the passion, we love the raw energy, but we don't like all of the antics. But trust me, he'll be a guy that I think that can push this team to the next level. And let me see what he got. Here you go. Let's click on this. This is trending topic. And look at it, throwing up the X or what have you. I want to know your thoughts. Shout out to you, Toby. Shout out to you, Aaron. Bye-bye, Witten. That's what he's saying. Bring Dez back just because of a new coaching staff. No more Garrett guys. Yeah, he was the guy that came out and said, hey, Garrett guy. He called Sean Lee a snake. I think that Jason Witten, I think he had so much for Jason Witten. He didn't want to say, well, Jason Witten is Garrett guy. My thing is, Grandma used to say, not everybody's lying on you. So far, we had Patrick Creighton, who I know for sure he's not a beast of a beast, but we did have Terrell Owens come out and speak out against Jason Witten. We did have other players to say to themselves, hey, this Jason Witten guy, he's not the guy that we think. And trust me, I love Jason Witten. And what's the other kid? Bennett, one of the Bennett brothers. He said something about Jason Garrett as well. So my thing is not everybody lying. I think that Jason Witten is 100% a captain of a team, a leader's leaders. You know what I'm saying? I think that he's one of those guys. I think he get a bad rep because he's just been playing too long. You know, and sometimes you got to just give it up. Even even mommy, this is Ezekiel Elliott mom. She said, come on, she praying for it. You know, she got the prayer hands. I love to say easy red zone target. This from Tyson. So you get a lot of people showing their love, man, for number 88. And then, of course, jersey sales will be up. Everybody love Dak to Dez, you see. And they love that emotion. He said, bring him back, Ryan. He said, bring him back. Everybody would love to see that. All these X's up here, man. And, of course, Dez for 2020. It seems like the proper move. I want to know how you all feel about it, though. Are you guys on the fence with this? Or are you sitting there saying to yourself, maybe, just maybe, we would love to see what he can do? Dez will stretch the defense out. Teams will try to figure out ways and say, okay, we know for sure Cooper is going to kill him over the top, you know, and he can also kill him across the middle. And now you got Dez Bryant. I don't know whether or not he can play inline tight end. I think that he can play offline. I think that he can probably run some route concepts that's in the interior. My thing is with D-Rob, I know for sure D-Rob always open. Been working on him, and he will be a whole lot crisper as it relates to the top of his route. Everything, my thing is that this is what I'm seeing from my own collective points of view. Just my opinions, you say. From my thought, just my thought, I can see that Dez can probably be like what everything that DK Metcalf was able to do for the Seattle Seahawks. That's just my opinion. Now, can the Cowboys go out there and snatch up another person that's in this draft or get another free agent that's out there that can be more feasible or more, I guess, growth worthy, so you can say, well, I can sign this guy for a 2 to 3 maybe year window? Because I think that if you sign Dez Bryant, because you haven't seen him play football in a while, you give him just above veteran minimum and you say, okay, let me see you work. And on top of that, you do not, I repeat, you do not allow the brother to miss training camp. You got to bring him in. You got to bring that raw emotions in. You got to figure out a way to say to yourself, I would want him back in as it relates to those things, because if not, boy, oh boy, oh boy. Let me see what his last stats were before he got the boot or what have you. Let me see what those were. Really appreciate you all. Thank you all for tuning in. All right, so this Dez Bryant, of course, you see the Saints logo because that's the last team he actually was on the roster for. He's still signed with Rock Nation. He's 31, got 8 years of experience. You guys see that. Shout out to you, Jay. Thank you for tuning in. And Roderick, really appreciate you. All right, so 2018, we knew what happened. We knew what happened during that time spell, right? So let's travel on down to 2017, if you know what I mean. So he played all 16 games. 894 snaps, 132 targets. That's a bad ratio to 69 receptions. So, and he had 838 yards, but 12.1 yards per reception. Not bad, actually. But it's one of his lowest in the last few years. 2016, boy, he had a nice year. I mean, he had a great year. I mean, the last time he had those numbers was never probably. 15.9 yards reception. Yeah, that's not bad at all. All right, okay, so he gave 6 touchdowns in 2017, 1 fumble, 12 drops. This is the area where you can say to yourself, I don't want that, I don't want to see that, I don't want to hear that. But I can go all the way back, and it's not just predicated upon Dak Prescott. Dez Bryant drops the ball, you see. You look back. Let's look back before Dak Prescott ever thought about playing football, right, for the Dallas Cowboys. In 2012, he had 11 drops. In 2013, I don't think that Dak Prescott was on his roster. If you know what I'm talking about, he had 11 drops then, you see. And then in 2014, 5 drops, and then 7 drops in 15. And I think that he played. So this was horrible because 15, he didn't play that many snaps or didn't play that many games, 444 snaps. But what I want to do is look at this thing from a collective view and say to ourselves, just maybe, you bring this brother in and he's going to dictate coverage. He's going to be able to be good against the run because now when they try to load up that box, although you got Gallup eating on the outside, you can still have him in any pace that my guy Jason Witten was running. We got to say to ourselves, man, Dez Bryant would be faster than that. He would. You know what I mean? He would be faster than that. At least, at bare minimum, he's going to be at least faster than that. He's going to draw attention at least to that. Now, here's the thing. He had a lot of targets. This is from Jay. He said he had a lot of targets in 2017, but Dak was very inaccurate. And let me see. In 2017, 162. Yeah, Dak had an off year. In 2017. Let me see what other year that was kind of comparable to that. 2011, 103 to 63. That's not as bad as that, but it's kind of similar. This 159 to 93, that was pretty good, actually. Well, I'm looking at it from this aspect of it. I don't know how Dak Prescott is going to blend in with this team unless we see a full training camp. I would love to see that. And trust me, I'm not beating on the chest. Let the AI speak, man. Really appreciate you for the donation.
I respectfully disagree. Which defense is losing sleep if the news breaks Cowboys resign? Dez Bryant.
Okay. You said, let me see. Let me repeat for those who are not able to catch that. He says, I respectfully disagree. Which defense is losing sleep if news breaks? Cowboys re-sign Dez Bryant. Let's look at this. Let's look at this total picture. Let's say you look at Dak Prescott to Dez Bryant, and you say to yourself, well, I think that Dez Bryant will slow down the process of everything as it relates to overall skill play and overall skill assessments of Dak Prescott going through his progressions. I look at it differently, though. I look at it from this perspective. If we can get a Dez Bryant back onto this system with a Gallup, with a Cooper, I think, or even a Cobb, I think that is better because in 2017, who did we have to help him out? I'm just trying to think. Who did we have to help him out, Y'all post that down below. Who did we had to take and dictate coverages, man? I don't know. I could sit there and say, well, we had a Jason Witten. I could sit there and say, well, we had who else we had, because I don't know for sure who did we really had to take the pressure away. Now, I'm not saying that Dez Bryant will be a guy that's going to take the top off the defense. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that I'm thinking that Dez Bryant will at least give you some 50-50 ball, at least give you some of that contact. And then on top of that, we'll at least give you some temperaments as it relates to overall, hey, they're going to have to actually figure out ways to actually look at this brother and say, well, he can take the top off the defense as it relates to the 50-50 ball. Look at this picture right here. We want to see him snatch the ball out of the middle of the air. And we want that right there. We have not seen that from our receivers in a minute. That red zone, that money zone efficiency, we haven't seen that, Cowboy Nation. So I don't know whether or not we're going to get back to those type of graces, looking at this thing from A to Z. Now, I will say, and dare I say, that can we find somebody in the draft? Yes. I'm all for it. Find somebody in the draft. This is my guy Cole. He says Terrence Williams, Mr. Always Drop Passes. Leave Terrence Williams alone, man. That's my brother from another mother. You know how it goes, right? Oh, my goodness. All right, so let's look at it from this other angle. This is Toby. Let's look at it from the other angle. I'm going to answer Toby on my Facebook. He says, Law, why bring in a washed-up Dez who never played tight end when you can sign Ebron type draft or Cole Matt or Bryce? Is that Bryce? What's his last name? Bryce Hopkins? Like I said, I agree. I flat out agree. I would say this too. In Cowboy Nation, I'm not sitting there saying, hey, let's cancel the draft and let's pick up Dez. But I'm talking about veteran minimum. I'm talking about that type of pay. I'm not talking about bringing Dez Bryant in for a 5-year contract, $45 million, not even for $8 to $10 million. No, veteran minimum, just above it. Just not give the brother right at veteran minimum. Give him. Anybody got those numbers for me, man? Help me out. I need some help right quick. Anybody got the veteran minimum contract? Can you please, put it in the chat box for your boy? Put the veterans minimum contract out there so that we can see how much money we talking about, so we can bring this guy in for a cup of coffee. Because I'm not sitting there saying that Ebron, you pass up on him to bring Dez Bryant back, because there was a message out there earlier this week that Mike was talking about. We're going to get the best players available regardless, even in the free agency. If we got the money, and speaking of the money, that's what we want to talk about. We want to talk about facts, right, Cowboy Nation? We ain't want to talk about that fake stuff. Pay Dez $500K, he'll come back. This is from Allen. For $500,000 to check out and see what he can do, I think it's worth it. I flat out think it's worth it. $915,000, that's veteran minimum. I thought it was a little bit less than that, but Dak Prescott not even making that. Oh my goodness, less than $1 million. Yes, $915,000. So that's what it is. I mean, who's all in favor of checking him out? Or you guys really thinking that this other kid that's on this team, last name Bryant, can do something? Ventrell Bryant, you would rather see what he can do opposed to a Desmond Bryant? Go get Hooper. Let's look at the money, man. Let's start talking about that. Let's look at this money, man. Let's look at this money action. We need to look at the money side of it instead of us guesstimating. Let's pull up this right quick. This is this overthecap.com. I'm gonna put the link in the description box on my YouTube page. And people that's on Facebook, man, I appreciate you all. But you probably had to go to my YouTube page to check out this link. I probably can put that link in the post-production. But since we live late 95, we're going to put it in the link now. So that's overthecap.com, and it's in the description box, man. A lot of people talk about money. We talk about money. We talk about resources, and we talk about how the Cowboys can utilize that cash action. All right, so total cap liabilities. you know, liabilities and you got assets, right? But the liability side of it is money that you got to pay out. It's just what it is. That's just how it goes. Now, offense, we got 80. It's like 80. And then on defense, we got 53 million. So when you add those two numbers together, it's $138 million, right? Tops 51, 136 million is what they are projecting to have. Team cap after expenditures is 81.58. So we're going to have pretty much $81 million left in reserve to play around with come 2020. The season is already here. That's how much money we're going to have. Now, we already know that the salary cap is a structure of sitting there saying that you can't go over the total cap number. You got your guys. You got to pay. They got special teams $2.4 million, defensive side of the ball $53 million, on the offensive side of the ball $80. Of our dead money that we can't recoup, money we can't get back, regardless of the situation. We can't get this $1.3 million back from Taco. We can't get this $227,000 back from Michael Jackson. We can't get this $108,000 back from Mike White. Those are money that we can't recoup money from, regardless of the situation. So we look at these hard cap numbers and these sorts of things. I'm thinking when you look at everything from A to Z, we have a lot of money to play with. Law, how in the world can this work out with Dak Prescott? How in the world this can work out with Amari Cooper? How in the world this can work out with, what's this other kid name? Byron Jones or what have you. I think I made a post on my Instagram. Let me see if I can find it right quick. I'm going to see if I can find my Instagram link so that everybody can see what I posted, and I probably posted it a while ago on y'all saw that? Y'all saw Shay Sharp? Boy, they be tripping me on the gram, man. Shout out to the gram, baby. Shout out to the gram, boy. They tripping, man. They tripping real hard. Let me see if I can find that link. It's been hit a while ago. Here we go. All right, so simple math here. And, of course, we said 81 million. This is like using this year's number before the salary cap will increase because it's been increasing by 10 to 14%. So it's projected to be at 94 million-ish, give or take. Cowboys around 94 million in cap space. If they make a few of these moves, they can make it all happen. You see, 35 million can go to Dak, 20 million can go to Amari Cooper, 14 million can go to Byron Jones, who don't catch interceptions. You know how they go. And the toss-up will be for 12 million for Quinn and 7 million, respectfully, to a Cobb. Now, my thing is with this number or with this price index. Let me see if I can pull it up. It says would take them to 88 million, and that would be a pretty high extension value. Tags can change this. So they talking about this number, collectively speaking, that we got the money. We got the money to make some things happen. We got the money right now to figure out what safety we can go scoop up, what defensive end or defensive tackle we can put in the mix. We got some money that we can really take a look at it and take a jab at it from a Byron Jones perspective. If you want to move on from a Byron Jones, maybe there's a veteran guy out there. Remember on the other episode I did, we did the top 25 or what have you. And dare I say, there was a guy, Justin Simmons, had 4 interceptions. You see number 21 on that list. We got money to go grab that guy if we want to. If you're really trying to make that transition move over to a quote-unquote 3-4 defense next year, we got the money to scoop up those cats. You see? Fowler and Shaq Barrett, Bud Dupree. You know, we got money. That's number 14, 15, and 16. This was when I did my top 25 draft free agency prospects or what have you. So we got the money. It's just that, are we going to be willing to move and shake and dance? You said Jay says he would re-sign Byron. Okay. You playing COD? Who's that Texas kid? QBs don't grow on trees. This is from Greg. Here's the thing, and I have to say this. I have to say this with the QB situation. This Dwayne says the upcoming draft is full of QBs. Well, that's a gamble, man. It's a gamble. We got a 17 pick though. So coming off the gates. So from my understanding, you're looking at it from here. Let me see how you're looking at it. Let me see if I can put this in perspective. Because the second end of the argument was Jason Witten. We saw what he was able to do. And from a natural eye, there's no way that Jason Witten last year would have been better than Dez Bryant. Let's just put that on the table. Jason Witten, he's good at what he does. But there's no way. No way. The amount of attention that he brought to the table wasn't all of that. Just being real with you guys. But when you're talking about quarterbacks don't grow on trees, and then some people said that there's a lot of quarterbacks in this draft. Let's see. When we look at this draft and we look at this team, who's the guy? Hubert? Is it? What's the Hubert kid that played for, I think, Oregon or something like that, right? If we were to go out there and say, okay, with the 17th overall draft pick, the Dallas Cowboys select Justin Hubert, I think that's his name, right? We go pick him up, and we would say to ourselves, well, we think and we project that he can be better than a Dak Prescott, maybe year 2, year 3. But for right now, that will point angles at us pretty much giving up on this season, unless we do what I say that we shouldn't do. And when I'm talking about this, what I'm saying is collectively, we shouldn't do this at all. We shouldn't look at this thing and say, well, let's just franchise tag him and maybe see if Dak can prove it for us one more year. Here's why I don't agree with the franchise tag, and this could be me 100% wrong, and you guys can come up with your own scenarios and theses and things like that. But franchise tags to me is similar to a quote unquote payday loan, one of those cash advance places. You see, what them loan shark people, where you go in, those title loans. Have you guys ever heard of those places? Title loan, payday loans, you see. Have you guys ever heard of those places? Let me know in the community box, in the chat box. That's what it looks like to me. Successful people do not operate with the quarterback with payday loans, you see. Cash advance, title loans. You get nothing back in return. You pay a high premium for one good year. And what it says to the organization is that the leader of my team, we have semi-trust in them, you see. Because if you ever identify with the payday loans or the cash advance locations, you look at it and you will say that they are never really in the wealthy communities. They are always in whereas there's poverty, there's payday loan centers. They're title loans, title max, all of those locations. And I'm just speaking from an economical situation from you guys. I got an economic degree. My background is in studying the demographics and looking at the Sproul effect, for crying out loud, and the wealth effect. And we compute all of these numbers together and we come up with a formula. But you never really, you rarely see a cash advance place. Let me know if I'm wrong and prosper. You see what I'm saying? Or up there in those rich areas or those wealthy areas. But you can go down there to the province areas where there's a lot of poverty at, and you'll see a bunch of payday loans. Why is that? Why is that there? Why are they there? Because the market is there. Because people who mismanage and misuse their funds say, hey, this can get me out of a bind. But the snare is right there. The issue at hand is right there. Because what you would do is you would say, hey, I can get my paycheck in advance, but I'm going to sign a 700%, you see what I'm saying, interest on this paycheck on my own money. And they grinning and skinning. That's exactly what you're doing as it relates to one of those, I'm a franchise tag my quarterback. I would rather, if you're going to franchise them, I would rather for you to put a tender out there for them, and you would sit there and say, if you want Dak Prescott, you have to give us a first, 2 firsts and a third, or 2 seconds and a fourth, or something like that. That would be the best move. But if you flat up franchise them, good teams don't do that, unfortunately. They don't. That's just the reality of it. I can't lie to kick it. Wealthy communities don't have payday loan centers because they know that they are garbage. They know that they are trash. They know that it's not going to do nothing but hurt you eventually. Predatory lenders. Yes, Ori. Yes. Yes. Peter Griffin says the Packers suck. Yes. 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 People don't see beyond their own perspective. You're speaking beyond thought processes of those who refuse to see the business side of sports. This is health/wellness or wholeness. Wholeness. I'm sorry. Yeah. So my thing is, a lot of people look at it that way. A lot of people would rather be the person that don't pay stuff for cash. You see, a lot of people look at it and say, well, I would rather rent or I would rather lease. I don't want to own. I don't want to possess things. Old folks had it right. Most of the people with grandmothers and great grandmothers, they own their property. They own a house. But this new generation, the new millennials, not talking about them because there's a lot of people that's multimillionaires that rent or lease. But collectively speaking, there's people who would rather have an S-Class Mercedes and pull up in an apartment complex. You see, there's people out there that would rather have, the new BMW coupe and they pulling up at grandma's house. You see, they would rather flash. Look, there's nothing sickens me more than to see a BMW 7 Series parked outside. It doesn't equate. You see what I'm saying? You don't have a garage with that, bro. You see what I'm saying? You're not managing your investments well. You see, but it's sickening that people sometimes think on that level, and that's just what I'm saying. If you have your trust and if you have your love and adulations towards your quarterback, and if you have any doubts on them, you need to figure out ways to start moving on them so that you can get something back in return. Don't let them test the market without nothing in return. Don't put a franchise tag on them like the Redskins deal was, and you let them walk or what have you after you franchise them 2 times in a row. They got really nothing but peanuts in return. So what I'm saying is, if they was ready to move on Kirk Cousins at that time, they should have got something in return. That's all I'm saying. They should have got more than what they got, whatever they got. I don't know what they got, but that's just how it goes. Roger Pro Bowl votes were a joke. Shout out to you, Jay Reese, man. Really appreciate you for tuning in. That's my brother from another mother, man. So that's what I'm trying to say. These quarterbacks, even Burrows, Joe Burrows, when he goes into the Cincinnati land, he's going to be compared to the other quarterbacks that was drafted, you see. And on top of that, whatever quarterback that was drafted before his time frame, he's going to be compared to those guys. But the benefit of him walking into Cincinnati opposed to him being a quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, because trust me, a lot of people would hit me up saying, hey, man, boy, we'll win multiple Super Bowls with Joe. But I'm going to tell you something. That cigar that he smoked and we thought that he was getting publicity then don't hold a match to the sunlight compared to what type of attention he would have got as it relates to the Dallas Cowboys. Look at Baker Mayfield. Everybody, mama, uncle, cousin, hit me up, and I keep everybody messages in my inbox. I just don't want to expose y'all like that. But everybody, mama, uncle, cousin was saying, hey, he's 1.5 million years way better than Dak Prescott. Man, we should have a Baker Mayfield on this team. You guys can believe that if you want. But Baker Mayfield is no Dak Prescott. Oh, Lord. Wait a minute. He didn't have any weapons. Have y'all seen the Cleveland Browns? They were loaded. They was watching the playoff just along with us. Yeah. And also, I was talking about this too, Cowboy Nation. I was talking about this. As much as we give all of the praises to Drew Brees and Aaron, the bad man that he is, Rodgers, they only got one more Super Bowl than Dak Prescott. One more Super Bowl than Tony Romo. Let that sink into your mental. That lets you know that this is a team's sport. It is. It's no individual. It is. It is. Let the AI speak. Shout out to you, William. Thank you so much for the donation to help grow this nation.
Lawman, do you believe with a new coach, does that greatly improve the chances of Tony Pollard being featured more in the offensive attack?
1,000,000%. People, I've been on this battle cry for about 3-4 years now. People discount the coaching so much, and I gave people movie references. To combat against that. I did. I said, look, check out this movie, Coach Carter. Check it out. They had this guy, Samuel L. Jackson, in this movie. And it's not even a fictional movie. It's based off of true events. Inspired by true events or what have you. Coach Carter went in there, the exact same team minus a few of their star players. Changed the culture. Brought in a winning philosophy. Brought in some winning techniques. You see what I'm saying? Changed everything. What happened? Coaching. You know, we look at it and say, well, through the course of this years, we were saying that, oh, man, come on, man. It's the players. Oh, man, Jason Garrett, hey, he's not out there running the plays. He's not out there catching the balls. He's not out there diving on the ball. He's not going through the A-gap, blitzing and trying to hit the quarterback. He's not the one swiping. He's not the one. Jason Garrett gets all of the blame when we lose and none of the credit when we win. I say, well, people, it's even more egregious when we can look at the talent level and we see how we win, scraping by. We're scraping up the small things just to win barely against teams that we should have blown out. And then we lose against teams that we should not lose against. We're barely at the edge of being motivated, you see. It's about the players' overall collective skills. But I know that that's water under the bridge now. But when I look at this kid, Mike McCarthy, he coming into this situation and he is saying that, hey, I'm going to look at everything from A to Z. I'm going to empower this guy. But also, I'm not going to sit back with my arms folded because I'm going to sit there and I'm going to make these necessary adjustments. Now, one can argue and say that, hell, Law, wait a minute. Didn't the Packers made it further without Mike McCarthy? You think going 15-1 is by mistake? You think making the Super Bowl is something by chance? It is crazy. Douglas Carter, really appreciate you, man. Thank you for tuning in to the nation. He says, Lawmaker, do you think Garrett lost the locker room? He sure didn't keep it. He sure didn't keep it, man. Orlando Earl, man, really appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in to the nation. Stop talking to the team drought out for Dak. He's been a quarterback for 4 years, not for 25 years. This is Tony Robinson. Yes, Tony, man, you're speaking the truth. Man, you're speaking the truth. I mean, it is what it is. My thing is, and I gave you guys my solution to Dak Prescott situation a while ago. I said that what this team should do is this team should sit back and look at this thing and say, okay, we still bring in a veteran guy just to light a fire under Dak. And I think that the veteran guy have soft eyes. He can see what Dak can't see. He can feel the temperament of the game, and he will be able to make those adjustments in game, not actually calling the game, but being able to say, hey, on this drag route, the receiver turn his hips inside a little bit more. Because dare I say, I seen the game tonight. I saw several passes. Several, not just one, several passes. Troy Aikman, oh, the ball was behind him. This is Aaron Rodgers. If he would have led him, he would have scored a touchdown. Oh, this ball right here would have been a completed 2-point conversion if he would have threw the ball to the pylon, opposed to the ball being passed too far behind him. It happened to everybody. Incomplete passes happen to everybody. But sometimes when you are a veteran quarterback, when you have that veteran knowledge, you can sit to the young kid and say, okay, here's what you're doing overly. You're making too many adjustments on your read. Oh, I saw them in a cover 3 smoke. The linebacker, he's cheating when he blitz, he's cheating to the inside, you see. Watch his alignment, you see. Oh, back in 2015, they did this type of situation on this defensive package. This is what they're trying to take away. Coach didn't pick this up, but I picked it up. That's how this thing's supposed to go. It says you saw Xavier Woods on Undisputed. Yeah. It's not all on the you said you got Garrett as a scapegoat. Yeah. Speaking of Xavier Woods, and speaking of the money, and speaking of the Cowboys organization, and we all love Xavier Woods, don't get it twisted. My guy said Aaron Rodgers look old tonight. Aaron Rodgers look like Aaron Rodgers all this year. It's just that he's not being spotlighted and he's not being talked about on First Take and ESPN, the four-letter network, if you want to say it, the NFL network, Tupac and Biggie. They're not coming out of the grave talking about it. He's not on Black Planet and Instagram and Facebook being talked about and being memes made of him. Because he's Aaron Rodgers. He got that one Super Bowl that everybody's going to glorify and look at it and say, okay, look, he is a Hall of Famer. You see, they're going to look at that. But what I'm trying to say is speaking of Xavier Woods, I saw a guy today called the Honey Badger. Matthew, what's his real name? Put his real name down there. The Honey Badger. I recall the Joneses on vacation when he was available as it relates to being a free agent. And they said, we don't like Honey Badger. We don't think that he's a good guy for us. Let me know for those who have eyes that can see. Did the Honey Badger today make plays? Let me recall, I think that the Honey Badger had 4 INTs this season, 2 forced fumbles, I believe, the games that I was able to see. But just so I won't be wrong on this, let me pull up the Honey Badger's resume, you know. I think I need to pull up this man's resume, you know. Tyrant, that's his first name. Appreciate you. And I can tell you that I know people that will kick Xavier Woods clean off the bridge for a Honey Badger. Oh, let me pull up the facts. Okay, we got the Tyrant Matthew. Okay, that's to say his name, Honey Badger. Oh, guess what? He's only 27 years old. He's going to be 28, right? And people was talking about this money, right? 3 years, 42 mil. Okay, and that's including a $14 million signing bonus. But let's look at these stats right quick. Let's look at it, if that's okay with you all. Oh, he didn't have the fumbles. Okay. I think he had a fumble in the playoff. Those don't count. But he had 4 INTs. Okay. 75 tackles. 63 of them being solos. 2 forced sacks, or 2 sacks out of the situation. And on top of that, he gave you a full work action. 16 games played. 16 games started over a stack of snaps. I was a baller, man. Consistency is what I'm looking at. Never went a year without snatching the ball away from the opposition. But we don't need him. That's what the That's what Steve and Jones said while they was on their yacht somewhere drinking some Mai Tais. Now, I'm thinking, and this is just my perspective, this is just my thoughts, and I do know that people will say, well, Will McClay do have the authority as the general manager. Name me one person Will McClay fired. Name me one person Will McClay said, okay, if you don't get your affairs in order as it relates to the coaching staff, that he had to let go. That's what general managers do. They fire players. They look at the player's performance and they say, okay, you gone. They look at the coaching philosophy and say, okay, you got 2 more years. If not, you gone. I don't know, man. I just don't know if Will McClay have that type of power. He don't have that type of power. I want to be real. He don't have that type of power. He can't look at a player and say, okay, man, it's time for me to get rid of you. No. Yeah. Yes. Woods can hit, though. Yeah, this is from Todd McGowan. I think Woods can hit when you're not looking. I think Woods can fly to the ball, swear you up, and put you down in the dirt. I like that aspect of Woods. But when you have that hand full of dirt headed your way, Woods going to make that business decision. That's just this unfortunate move for Xavier Woods. And maybe this year, Xavier Woods can give us that hope that we've been looking for. Maybe. Just maybe. Stephen Jones is stingy. He would never sign anybody. This is from Kyle. Yeah. Stephen Jones. I remember Stephen Jones he was the guy that he did not want Deion Sanders. I remember that vividly. He didn't want him. He did not want Deion Sanders. He said, nah, we shouldn't do it. And Jerry Jones was like, man, forget this, dog. We finna go get this kid. Regardless of the situation. We finna go snatch him up real quick. So we got 10 minutes left on the ticker, man. I really appreciate you all. Thank you all for tuning in to the nation. Let me see what I can do with this 10 minutes left on this thing, man. Really appreciate you all. I try to give you guys my honest thoughts, my honest opinions of everything. Once again, I would say the Cowboys should bring in Dez Bryant for a cup of coffee, see where his mental mind is at. On top of that, I think that if Jason Witten goes to the New York Giants or what have you to follow up with Jason Garrett or what have you, let it be. Don't get mad, don't get upset with it. It'll just be hard for us to digest that or see that, with our eyes or what have you. But, at the end of the day, his legacy will still be with the Cowboys. I think that he will still be in the Ring of Honor. I think that he will still be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And I think that he will be one of those guys that they'll probably one day put a statue out there in the Star in Frisco somewhere, you see. I really do, man. I really love Jason Witten's overall skill set. It's just that he's tarnishing the moment right now. So, with that being said, Cowboy Nation, the phone lines are open. So if you guys want to give me a buzz, man, the 682-214-4087 will be the phone lines for the remainder of these minutes of time. If you're on my Facebook, that number is 682-214-4087. Call that number, you'll get in, and we can talk, and you can put what's on your mental mind and what have you, and just be swift with it, be as quick as possible, and we'll bounce off your thoughts, bounce off your opinions verbally, opposed to it just being in the chat or what have you. 682-214-4087 is the phone number. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Ty is a boss. Yes, I feel you. Yes, indeed. Jarwin can open up the offense. I agree. I think that Jarwin can do all of those things for you. And some more, probably. Probably give you some more stuff out there. I really like Jarwin. I think that Jarwin this year was held back because of the simple fact that the offense changed. I think that Jason Witten, when he was calling the plays in the booth, he was looking down like, man, this team is just being explosive a little bit. They're doing some things that I like to see. They got the talent around them. Shoot, I need to come on back. I need to play this game again that I love. Yeah, so I think that he thought that he can get some of that shine action. And he did. He started off pretty fast, believe it or not. He did. First 2 games had a touchdown. Second game he had 2 touchdowns, I believe. So he was doing his thing just for a second. But Father Time is undefeated, baby. Y'all know how that goes, right? Yeah, let me see. We'll go the number down again. 682-214-4087. 4087. You think is Andrea says I think Witten will coach. I think he'd be probably a great coach out there. Some people like him that can pay attention to details is something nice. Kelly says, what are your thoughts on Pollard as a slot receiver? I think that can be quite possible. I think that we can really, really do that as well. Pollard, the slot receiver, Pollard, I think that can work out. I think that that's something that they can think of doing. Let's see how they work out, man, this offseason, because they're going to utilize them different ways. Let the AI speak.
Lawman, since we have McCarthy now, how would you feel about getting Zeke a fullback? I personally wouldn't mind.
Oh, yeah. I saw, although they lost, I saw Derrick Henry running behind a fullback. I was able to see for many of years the Green Bay Packers used a fullback in the system. What was that guy name? They'll yell out his name. They'll yell out his name, say Coon or something like that. What was his name out there? He played for the Green Bay Packers. And he was a good fullback. Kind of put me in the mind of Daryl Moose. Yeah, Nathaniel. We don't know how that's going to play out all the way out. Jason Witten going to the Giants. We just got to sit back and wait. And once again, man, I really thank you, William, for making the donation to help grow the nation, man, helping me grow this thing so that we can be out there in Oxnard with 4 cameras, me, Shango, Big Game James, you see. I'm going to try to get my guy Voch Lombardi if he got chances and opportunity to get out there too, to be out there in the mix so that we can have a full, I envision this, and it's good to tell people what you envision and write it down, make it plain, and these sort of things, right? I envision, this is just my envision, right, that we have a camera crew, right? And it'd be like one of those Netflix type of situation where it'd be like a documentary setting where it's me, my guy, Okoye probably, Foots, Shango, Vonch Lombardi, Mark Holmes with the voodoo doll. You see what I'm saying? West Coast Cowboy, him out there, you know, because he be on everybody's platform doing his thing. Boss Cowboy, and we just have like this crazy, you know, like Ray's Boom Boom Room at this point. Have this crazy sensation of like having cameras following us while we watching the Cowboys, and everybody. I could still have the chat box stream up, right? And we Netflix series, you know, if they can do a Netflix series on the world, what is it? Earth flatters, you know, people thought the world was flat, you know, whatever they call them. They did a whole Netflix series off of that. In 1980s Cowboy, yes, and my Cowboys family. But we have a whole situation going on by us watching the Cowboys. Hell, it can just be one series of us going out there to Oxnard. How about that? Andrea, she says Dak turned down $34 million. Is that a rumor or is that the truth? You know, I've been hearing a lot of people saying that Dak turned down $34 million. Was that confirmed or denied? Because it's funny how that was leaked or what have you. It's weird how that was leaked. 682-214-4087. Do I have to call myself so I won't look crazy putting the number out there and nobody call me? Y'all don't want to talk to the nation? Y'all can't get through? Y'all trolls, call me. One of the trolls called me. 682-214-4087. Oh, it was reportedly, this is from my guy from the 903. That he turned down. It was reportedly that he texted me. He said, or you can text that number. The nation line never closed. We got 2 more minutes on the wire. Shout out to Toby says you lost me at Boss Cowboys. Can't cut that dude. Shout out to Boss Cowboy, man. He's always in the mix too. Who else I'm missing out, man? All of the people that do these type of things. Country Wayne, you know, help is on the way. Help is on the way. And what's the other guy? That Scooter McGruder, right? Yeah, and have him to be in this thing, man, in the documentary series. I guarantee you somebody need to do a proposal to Netflix. You know what I mean? Just do the proposal to Netflix. Hey, Netflix, you'll make some money. Cowboy fans will eat this up. Underground Cowboys. Following the Cowboys at Oxnard, you see? Behind the scene action, you see? He's worth $34 million. Yeah. He really turned down $34 million. I think that's a rumor, man. I don't think that he turned that down. I don't think that they proposed Dak Prescott $34 million. I don't think that they proposed him $34 million. I don't think that that's happened, you know. And what would benefit Dak Prescott camp for putting that news out there? Let's look at this thing before somebody call. I'm going to cut the phone lines off since y'all don't want to call in. I try to make the show go an hour. All right, let me just turn that phone line off so I can do this right quick because I don't want you to call me when I get this up. Let me see if I can go right here. Phone lines off since nobody want to talk to me, man. Man, I thought y'all loved me, man. Y'all don't care about a brother. Oh, now I get a missed call. Let me see. 646. What's you in the mix, man? That's what I'm talking about. 646. What's good?
What's good? How you doing, Patrick Laurent?
Patrick, man, talk to me, man. How you feeling about this 2020 season of vision?
I feel like Dak gets a lot of heat, but he's actually a playoff winning quarterback, and he should have a different coach who has instruction and discipline on the team, because the Cowboys' mistakes have been for years is that they don't have a disciplined coach. You understand? Mm-hmm. Tony Romo was a good quarterback, and Dak Prescott is a good quarterback, but the team is never disciplined. Like they make too much mistakes, too much penalties, turnovers, and crucial moments. Like indecisions between the coaches, and I'm a Giants fan, so
wow.
I know.
Wow.
I'm from New York.
You from New York? So Jersey or you in New York? Where you staying at?
I'm Brooklyn.
Brooklyn in the house. So we got Brooklyn in the house. All right. So
Giants.
So you're a Giants fan, and you got a new coach. How do you feel about Jason Garrett being the offensive coordinator from your perspective?
I love it. I love it. As long as he's not the coach of my team, I love it. You understand? Because I feel like he could develop this young quarterback, Daniel Jones, and I feel like we got a lot of things going for us right now with him as the offensive coordinator. That's how I feel. You know what I'm saying? But he can't be a coach. I watched him when he was a backup for Troy Aikman and shit like that. He never had the strong demeanor.
Yeah, he's not going to give you that fire and brimstone. Here's a little nugget for you, man. Jason Garrett, as the offensive coordinator, never been no lower than 11th overall in offense and no higher than number 1 overall in offense. So he's been anywhere between number 2 collectively in total offense to number 11. So where were you guys last season as it relates to offense? Where do you guys rank at?
We ranked like at the bottom, at the middle of the pack, really, when Daniel Jones was the quarterback and stuff like that. I feel like, they crushed him a little too fast and stuff. Like, they could have just dealt with Eli to the middle of the season and see how it goes, you understand? But we just had to my season, I don't know if we have like a GM problem right now going on or coach, you understand? I don't really know. I don't really like Gettleman, you understand? I don't really like him,
Right.
So, because
no doubt. So, hey, one more thing. Are you sold on Daniel Jones, or are you really like, we should have got somebody else?
No, I wish they would have got somebody else, kind of, Okay. Kind of, because he's just like, in New York, you gotta really be like that silent personality. You can't be shaky in the pocket and like kind of. He fumbles a lot, you understand, and you ain't gonna survive in New York like that, you understand. So,
would you prefer your team to tank for Trevor Lawrence?
I prefer it, yes.
You got
And we
solid.
won
You was
Super
like,
Bowl.
man, you know what? Trevor Lawrence, Saquon Barkley, and whoever else we get in the draft. Oh, okay, yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that.
Yeah, I'll take Trevor Lawrence any day over Daniel Jones. But I just don't like the fumbles. You understand? And I know as a quarterback in New York City, you ain't gonna survive turning the ball over that long in a higher rate. When Eli won a championship, he didn't turn it over like that. You understand? He's now turning it over, and of course he's benched now. You understand? So.
No doubt, man. I really appreciate you for calling in to the nation, man. You want to get out any other thing, man, before I
And
let you go?
Yeah, I was. What else was I gonna say? Who you think is gonna win the Super Bowl? Actually,
Kansas City Chiefs. I think that the game plan, the game format is going to be exactly what we saw against the Tennessee Titans. The 49ers are going to start off running the rock. They're going to get out there. They're going to get out there really quick, really fast. And Kansas City Chiefs, they're just going to figure things out. They got some weapons, man. That Hill kid, take the top off the defense.
They got some weapons. I've never seen
Kelsey.
Since the Rams, I've never seen that type of offense. Like, never seen it. Like the weapons they have, like they are. But the thing I think is Jimmy G has won Super Bowls under Tom Brady. People forget that.
I never look at it from that angle. Yeah, and then Shanahan, he been there before too, so he got the experience too.
He can throw. He can throw. People don't think he can throw because San Francisco's a running team,
right.
But he can throw. You understand? So I've seen him throw. I've watched Patriots game when he came in, playing him and he can throw and he can run too. And they have a defense. So Kansas City doesn't have a defense, and I'm not I'm from New York, the Giants fan, so I don't believe like they can beat the Niners. The Niners can score, you understand,
right.
And keep him off and keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. Because remember, Tennessee and Houston almost kept him off the field the whole entire first half. Tennessee had him
right.
Running down their throats. Though Kennedy didn't have a bad game.
Let me say this. Let me say this about the Kansas City Chiefs defense, though. They are very opportunistic, because this is what they do. They play better when they have the lead. Chris Jones, Frank Clark, and the Honey Badger and all those boys, they play better with a lead per se, opposed to playing down behind. I think that's how that defense rallies. You see. That one or two, Anthony Hitchens and all of those boys that used to play for the Cowboys, Damian Wilson, those guys are guys that step it up when the team is winning. They fold a little bit when the team is down, though.
But then if you watch the game, it's also Andy Reid. Andy Reid makes when he has the lead, he makes some type of decisions where I'd be like, I question them. Like if you watch the game, and and I'm like, if you have a good coach, Tennessee would have came back when he was down by 11 because Andy Reid his clock management is not good. You understand?
Yeah,
it's not good at all.
That's his Achilles heels, man. That's Achilles heels.
And Mike Shanahan, you don't think Kyle Shanahan, you don't think Kyle Shanahan got Mike Shanahan possibly telling him what couple of plays to call during the game, or you understand? Because he was up there in the booth.
From what I heard, and this is just out there on the streets, majority of those plays when the Atlanta Falcons lost their Super Bowl, Matt Ryan. You remember Matt Ryan versus the the reason why
when they lost that Super Bowl.
Yeah, they was up by all them points. See, Matt Ryan loves he loves to throw. He audible out of some of those plays. That's from what I heard. You see. They did, because remember, all they had to do was up 28-3. They kept passing the rock, and they was looking at it like, hey, why does he keep passing the rock? Because see, Matt Ryan kind of like, nah, I'm gonna throw this thing. You see, and that's what happened.
I got the Niners,
Oh, you got the Niners winning? You putting your money on the Niners?
Because their defense, I feel like they have a good enough quarterback and good enough. They have an offense, with Sanders, Debo, that running game, Jimmy G. They have a complete offense to match with Kansas City, number one, and
Most
people's
certainly.
not realizing that that's the best offensive matchup for Kansas. Green Bay would have got blown out because Aaron Rodgers cannot put up that much points like he used to. You understand?
Yeah.
So I think it would be. I got the Niners because their defense and their coach, Kyle Shanahan.
No doubt, man. I really appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for calling in to the nation, man.
God bless and have a safe night.
You as well, man.
I'll text you in whatever 2 weeks. Call.
Yeah, text me, man. Text this same number, man. It's open 24/7, fam. Text it to me.
All right. Thank you. God bless.
Amen. Amen to that, boy. Let me tell you something, man. A good call, man. Cowboy Nation. Y'all want to take a few more calls? Or y'all want me to get on out of here, man? Let me know. Let the nation know. Y'all want to. I saw some people call in while I had the phone on mute. Let me know if you guys want to continue to go, man. I think it's 11:38. I think I can squeeze out a couple more minutes with you all. Tevin Coleman got hurt. Yeah. I don't know. KFC for a Super Bowl. It's just that Pat Mahomes, shout out to Texas native, kid, can throw that ball, sling it all the way around and these sorts of things. But now that he kind of put something in my mind, with the Kansas City Chiefs defense, suspect a little bit. Grant Delpit can stay healthy. 903, what's good?
What's up, Law?
Oh, man, it's your world, man. It's trying to pay rent, man. What's going on with you?
Hey, man, reportedly Dak turned down that $34 million while you've been on the show tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I really think it's just a guaranteed money. I don't think it's the 34.
Mm-hmm.
I think he wants a little more guaranteed than what the Jones is trying to give him.
Trying to pump up that
I
guaranteed
really like
money.
to get signed up. Yeah, bump up that guaranteed money. I think we got us a ball player.
From the spoketrack.com, they said in 5 years, $165 million. How does market work? If Dak Prescott holds out until at least Pat Mahomes get his money, and I'm not trying to put him in the same atmosphere as Pat Mahomes, but that value is going to go up regardless because the salary cap is going up as well.
Right.
So how you feel about how do you feel about Dak Prescott? Are you a Cowboys fan? Because the last guy, he was a Giants fan, for crying out loud.
Man, yeah, I'm a Cowboys fan. That's why I watch the show, man. I like Dak, I really do, but I feel like he's been misused all this time, with the previous coaching staff. We weren't running the ball like we were supposed to, and that put Dak in a bad situation and, forcing balls in places we shouldn't have been at. But, I mean, I really think he's just been misused all this time, and I think that quarterback, guru is McCarthy. I think he's going to get him ironed out.
Man, we can't wait to see it, man. I mean, through the course of the years with Dak Prescott, his numbers collectively been going up. It goes up, So hopefully,
yeah, right.
Hopefully, man, looking at his stats and everything, with a new coaching philosophy, with a new system in place, it's going to be some of the similar things, the language and everything. With what was it, Kellen Moore, they're going to keep the same language, which is cool. I think that he probably have a better year. And the Cowboys are smart. They go ahead and up their guaranteed money and go ahead and live with it, But I know a lot of people don't like for us to talk like that.
It is what it is. They can go ahead and bank on it. He's going to be our quarterback for at least the next 5-6 years. They might as well just get ready for it.
Get ready for it, because at the end of the day, we can look at it and say, man, this kid never had a losing season.
That's right. I mean,
anything else you got for the show, man? Anything else you got for the show, man?
No, man. I'm looking forward to next year. We got some good coaches in the division. Our division is looking up, and we need that, man. We need that. I want to see 3 teams go to the playoffs next year from our division.
Oh wow, iron sharpen iron, steel sharpen steel. One thing I can say with the Redskins, they're gonna establish an identity. So we had our fun for these first 4 years with the identity of the Redskins being all lopsided, but they're going to be ready this season.
Yeah, they will.
All right,
Don't
bro.
sleep on them Giants neither, man.
I can't sleep on them, man. But we're going to be ready for them, though. Locked, loaded, and ready.
Already, man. Appreciate the show, man. Love it.
Man, appreciate you, man. Salute, bro. That's from the 903, man. That guy was speaking from his mind, man. I love to hear that, man. All right, so the phone number 682-214-4087. What free agency would you want this in this offseason? Free agent list. Hey, we've been looking at those things, man. Let me look at the top. This is from the top 50 list. I like that Hunter Henry. I like Austin Hooper. I like those two kids there. I will bring in, let me see if I can pull this up a little bit. I'll bring in the Logan Ryan kid, if you guys can see on my screen there, for a cup of coffee. He's number 44. Of course, Robert Quinn, we'll sign him back. Trey Boston, I think that they've been passing up on him for so many years. I don't even want to entertain that. I said Trey Waynes. I like him. Calvin Noy, he's number 36 on this list. I'll bring him in for a cup of coffee to see what he's all about, just to pick his brain. Teddy Bridgewater, the New Orleans put an exclusive tag on him. But I will look at number 30, Anthony Harris. He'll be a guy that I will bring in too for a cup of coffee and say, hey, man, what do you want, man? What are you trying to do with yourself, man? We got the coaching staff. We got the team. What you want to do, man? What you want to bring to the table? And on this list right here, if you guys can see 25 through, shout out to you, man. Thank you so much for subscribing, man. Hey, you grow the nation, man. That's what I like to see, and that's what I like to hear. AJ Green, he's 32. Remember the other show that I did the other day? I said, man, this guy getting long in the tooth. So I don't know. But AJ Green opposed to a Dez Bryant. One is 31, one is 32. Give me Dez. I just like the wow factor that Dez brings to the table opposed to an AJ Green. I like the Armstead kid. I like the Fowler. I like the Shaq Barrett. I like Bud Dupree. All of those guys, man, you at least got to take a real good look at him. Matthew Judon, you got to take a look at him. He's number 18. Derrick Henry, nah, he's not going anywhere. But the New York Giants, Leonard Williams, they wouldn't pay all that money to let him go, right? So I think that they're going to do something with him. But that Justin Simmons kid, I really like him. Bradbury, I don't know about him. He can get the boot. Emmanuel Sanders, he's really happy right now. I wouldn't bring him in as well, although he loved the Cowboys per se. Chris Harris, just depending on what type of scheme they're gonna run, I would like Chris Harris. Keywan Short, this is what Derek Savage says. Signed Dez for $6 million. That's a lot of money, man. For $6 million for a 1-year rental. I would at least bring Dez in for a 1-year rental deal and see if I can see what he do. I wouldn't put him in a situation with $6 million straight out the bat. TJ Brown, he's agreeing. Fowler, he like Dante Fowler. Yeah. Nathaniel Hall says, dang, AJ Green 32, him and Julio. Yeah. And this is the top of the list, man. A lot of people were thinking about this. Oh yeah, I'll bring Dak Prescott back, for a long conversation. Tom Brady, Drew Brees, those guys are on futures contract, meaning that you got to give up something to get those guys. But I don't think that they're going to move anywhere. I think Drew Brees is going to retire Saint. I think that Tom Brady, he's going to make some fuss, but he's going to retire a Patriot. Jadeveon Clowney, Jadeveon Clowney, the Clowney. TJ Brown says Bud Dupree. Yeah, I would love to see him in a Cowboys uniform. I don't know, man. I don't know about Jadeveon. But Amari Cooper, I'll bring him back. Chris Jones, a force to be reckoned with. If we can get Kinlaw, I wouldn't even entertain this. But it's a lot of people that we're going to have to take a real good look at after the draft, though. After the draft. Byron Jones, man, how you guys feel about that? I don't know. I would go ahead and and do it like this with Byron. It just depends. He would have to be a guy that we evaluate after the draft. You know, shout out to Florida Day. He said late night stream. Yes, man, late night stream for your dream, baby. The Ducks, good quarterback. Yeah. Brady going to San Diego. That would be crazy, won't it? Brady's to San Diego Superchargers. That they in LA now? Where they at now? You know. We don't even know where San Diego is going to be playing at, right? We don't know. Definitely don't know. Definitely don't know. All right, let me see if I can do this right quick. We're going to do this thing one more time, Cowboy Nation. And I promise you I'm going to get on out of here. Let me go here. And we're going to make sure that is on. Okay. All right, so it's on now. The phone lines are officially closed for this evening. And we're going to do this one little thing before we get on out of here. Since you guys are here. Clear out all that. Clear that out the way. Really well. All right. We're going to do this one more thing right here before we get on out of here, man. Like I said, I really appreciate you all. We got the big board on the screen, man. We got it here. So you guys know how this thing goes. You guys know how this thing roll. Do you guys want to pick, or do you guys want me to pick, or the AI to pick? Let me know. Quick mock draft. Y'all know how this thing go, right? Quick mock draft. Pick the Cowboys, of course. Tannehill to the Chargers? Nah. We're going to go predictive board. We're going to do 3 rounds. Mock draft, baby. And we're going to go super fast. No, we're going to go super fast. We're going to let the AI pick first. Let the computer pick. Let's start this thing off. Let's go. Get y'all some music, man, while this thing is jumping around. It's almost there. Let's go. I want to get this crap. Let's go get this music in there. Let's go. Let's go. All right. I know y'all up now. You can't go to sleep now. Cowboy Nation, you are in the overtime. That's what we're in right now, and we're going to just go over this quick list before we get on out of here. Let's see what faith holds for us. All right, so with the first overall draft pick, the Cincinnati Bengals drafted Joe Burrows, quarterback. Second pick, we got to face against Chase Young, not the bank Chase, but this Chase. He'll be chasing after Dak Prescott. Okay, the Detroit Lions are blessed with another blessing. They get Jeff Grandperion Okuda. They get him from Ohio State. The kid is fantastic. He is fantastic indeed. Yes, indeed, Cowboy Nation. Okay, Isaiah Simmons is off the board. The New York, they went and snatched him up. And that's be crazy because going back to the Detroit Lions, they already got Darius Slay. They already got blessings. Now they got blessings on top of blessings. All right, Jederick, he's gone for the Miamis. Tua Tonga, how do you say that man's name? Tua, he's gone to Alabama. Derek Brown, he's gone to the North Carolina Panthers. There you go. He going to that team. Andrew Thomas, they need some offensive tackle to help out the young kid down there. Where Jerry Jeudy, he's gone. But the Dallas Cowboys, let me skip all the way down because you see CeeDee Lamb, he's gone. My brother from another mother, Ken Law, he's gone to the Colts. Oh, that would be a nice defense for them. Oh, my goodness. Christian Fulton, he's gone. The Denver Broncos pick him up. AJ, he's gone. But the Dallas Cowboys pick up. And I mean, they picked up a nasty weaponry. Let me turn my music off a little bit. Let's look at this thing right quick. C.J. Henderson, he's one of my top 5. If you know what I mean, as it relates to cornerbacks. He's one of my top 5. So if they pick up C.J. Henderson, you know what? His overall skill set, he kind of reminds me of Greedy Williams a little bit. He will put you in the mind of a Byron Jones, but with ball play. And he can be physical. He's 6'1", 202 pounds, long, gangly, lanky frame. He's a thorough guy. I want you guys to not just look at his highlight tape, but I want you guys to look at his overall tape. Now, my thing is, my only reservations on his kid right quick is that, yes, he don't do his knees bend as much as we want. And then on top of that, his technique a little bit can be sloppy as it relates to tackling. But I seen some film out there. I was able to look at some film on this kid, and I said, you know what? Most of that situation, because he was favoring an injury, I think that the kid got some dogness inside of him. I think that he's a grit, grimish guy. I think that he can give you some turnovers and take away. Let me show y'all his full picture, man. This is how they looks, man. 6'1", 202 pounds. Give the man a sandwich, he'll be 210. But he's still good. He can play. And this next level, I can't wait to see him out there in the field. So that's what we picked up in the first draft, okay? And then our foes, they went and got T. Higgins, the Eagles, what have you. And they went and got that kid. And the 36th pick, they went and got Terrell Lewis. He's an edge guy, pretty nasty guy. This is what I'm talking about, the Giants, what have you. Not bad at all for them. Let's move all the way down. We got this guy right here. If you like, and I'm not just trying to make a comparable to a Jeff Heath because the brother got a lighter hue or what have you. But if you like Jeff Heath, this would be like Jeff Heath 2.0, but better Jeff Heath as it relates to overall talent. Of course, he have a lot of room to improve on as it relates to his coverages, because Jeff Heath, I think he can cover pretty well, believe it or not. I just think that Jeff Heath have a problem as it relates to being around the LOS, if I can say that, collectively speaking. But this is Ashton Davis. I want you guys to look up the kid. He's a safety. That's another critical needs area for us. I think if we go this route, cornerback safety in the draft, I think we'll go this route based on what we do in free agency. Meaning that means that in free agency, we done picked up that gobble trash can full of dirt, and we done picked up that defensive tackle, you see. But this kid, he's not a true prowler, meaning that he's not going to cover you well. He's not going to cover you like a blanket. He's not an Ed Reed or a Troy Polamalu. He's not that. They say he will be effective in a cover 2 scheme, meaning that he got to play with something in front of him. He can't play with chasing, trailing, and these sorts of things. But what he do well, or in other words, what he can do, is this right here. He is an impressive tackler. Let that sink in, Cowboy Nation. And he flies out to the ball. He will stick you. He will put you in his back pocket. He will fold you up like a lawn chair. And he would do that, Would like to see it touch more on anticipation and zone to flow, scrape when he's not held on the second route or what have you. Top of his route, I think that can be coached out. I think that the Lindquist coach, Maurice Lindquist, can work him out. Al Harris, that defensive back coach as well, can work him out on that. But he got a hot motor, pretty fearless, dropping it down inside the box, challenge blockers, meaning that here's the thing that I like to see about safety play. And I'm giving you guys my raw analysis, okay? I like to see safeties when it's a run play, not allow the opposition to get their hands on him. I want to see him explode, blow through his opposition, and still chase to the ball. I don't want to see him being held up and then being able to break it loose. I want him to do the first hitting, and that's what he does. That's what he shows out there on his film and tape. So, like I said, his best traits, competitive toughness. His worst trait, deep range. Flipping his hips, trailing is not his cup of coffee or not his cup of tea, however you want to look at it. His best film is against Oregon. His worst film is against Washington. Projects to be a best into a role as a cover 2 free safety. Plays on a pro level. That's just what it shows right here on the bottom part of this summary. Let's move on to the next person that we done drafted. Okay. Josh Jones, offensive tackle gone. Jeff Gladney. I like that kid. He's from TCU. Kid is nice, man. Pretty nice. That kid is pretty nice right there, man. Jeff Gladney. Y'all check him out. Pretty nice. Who we even got over here? KJ Hill. He's nice. A speedster. He going to... Hey, if the Redskins get that type of deal, they went and got Chase Young, they wouldn't get this KJ Hill, they would be the Ohio State Redskins. You know what I mean? That's what they would be, though, But shout out to the Redskins, man. God bless them. All right, so we get Khalid Kareem. I think that he's a little stiff. Looking at his film, I thought he was a little stiff a little bit. Let me pull up his information. 6'4", 265 pounds. Khalid Kareem. You guys see him, 6'4", 265. All right, so dude has stupid veins. Uses length as well as properly. Elite traits, excel, attacks inside shoulder, opposed to their offensive tackle, with drag his hands and snatches them from the inside swim. Regularly generates pressure from the inside accordingly. Reduces shoulders pretty well and low. Let me see. Let's look at the cons though. Let me pull up the cons for you guys. I know everybody loves to know the cons. Bend seems unexciting. That's what I saw. He just don't give you that bend. That's what they have right here. These are my words, but these are not my words. Bend seems unexciting, and lack of outside rush may be damning. You see what I'm saying? They put that indictment on that kid. May be damning because he don't have that bend. Kind of puts you in the mind, believe it or not, of a, dare I say, a taco. But it is what it is. No band, zero band. Who don't have a lot of band? Believe it or not, DeMarcus Lawrence don't have a lot of band. He's more technical with his hands. So that's what you would see basically on a lower level, if I can say that. Cowboy Nation. I know you guys want to crucify me, but that's just my observation. But that's with the 82nd pick. Was it the end of it? That was the end of it. All right, so that was the quick mock draft or what have you of the 3 rounds. And those were the guys right there. C.J. Henderson, Ashton Davis, and Khalid, not the singer, but the defender, I would think we would end up decent. I would probably take 2 to 3 years, though. This was Nathaniel Brown. Yes, it'd probably take 2 or 3 years. It normally takes 2 to 3 years. So the people that we drafted last year, we don't know what they're going to do. We definitely don't know. We got 2 more years for evaluating them. But also, that's what you're talking about, the Tristan Hill kid and everybody else. So Cowboy Nation, that's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. Don't forget to hit that like button, share this content. Let a friend, neighbor, foe know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboy Sports Talk and Beyond. I hope you guys have a wonderful, blessed work day tomorrow, and continue to grind, continue to shine. Let's continue to push our mind to the right perspectives in the right places. Cowboy Nation, let me get on out of here, man. But I just can't leave you all without, playing my outro and all that. So, but I really appreciate you all. Let me know if you guys like the new chat box over here on the side. Normally, I just pull it straight from YouTube without the jazz. Feedback is always granted. Give me some feedback. Always listening to you all. Let's go. Let's get this thing going one way or another, Cowboy Nation. And with that being said, we out. Oh, I forgot. And remember, you all are listening to nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing but the best. Let's go. Yeah. Appreciate you. Shout out to all of the mods, man. Hey, if you guys didn't put down working community services, man, put that down, man. You guys worked a whole hour and 32 minutes, man. Really appreciate you. Shout out to you, loving Aries, Rue, Glock, all of the mods, man. Thank those who donate. Thank those who wanted to donate but couldn't donate, but really appreciate you. All you got to do to support the nation, hit me up on my website, lawsnation.net. That's my website. It's 100% mine. It's completely owned by Law Nation. So help support me that way. Also, if you want to support the nation, share. Hit that share button. That's the best way, man. Share. Let a friend, let a neighbor, let a foe know. Hey, man, there's this guy named Law Nation. He talk Cowboys sports, talking beyond. He even got beard tutorials if you trying to grow your beard. So I'll try to help those out the best way possible. Hit that like button, share this content, man. Really appreciate you all, man. Y'all know I love y'all. I don't have to say it. You know what's understood don't have to be explained. Come on, Cowboy Nation, let's go. Yeah. Let me see that fire, baby. Let me see that fire, baby. Yeah. Yeah. Remember,